Hey guys, me again. How you doing? What's going on? Just wanted to talk to you. Well, I wanted to talk to you about questions you never ask a gay person, because it's kind of ridiculous. But at the moment, I'm going to fill out a survey. Yes, a survey. Ooh. Yeah, I just saw this on Yahoo Answers, so I decided I'm going to do a video response to it as a gay person, and you all know that already. So, here it goes. Okay. First question. At what age did you notice signs of homosexuality, and how did you react? Okay. Well, to answer your question, anonymous person, my answer to the first question is I noticed when I was 8. I didn't really think of it as signs of homosexuality. At that point, I didn't really know that word. So I just knew that I loved men. I always knew. I always have known. How did I react? Well, first, I tried to express that to people, and at that age, it was not very well accepted. So I hid for 14 years or so. About 14? I don't know, 18 years. Long time. Anyways, next question to answer your thing. Did you ever... Hold up. Did you ever feel you needed to hide your sexuality, and why? Me? Yes, I did. I felt like I needed to because it wasn't very well accepted at 8, and so that would have been 1998. It wasn't very well accepted then. B, I grew up in a very Christian home with religious parents and very strong views and such, and very strong views on how that is seen in the Christian community, or at least by some people. Not trying to stereotype here. Third question. At first, were you proud of your sexuality, or at what point did you become proud, if ever? Okay, to answer your question, I never looked at it as sexuality. I looked at it more as me as a person, who I am. You know, I love men, but also with that, I have my own personality, who I like to be, and so I never put sexuality and whatever together. My personality and my sexuality, I try to keep separate. I like men, but who I am as an individual is me. Okay, to answer your question though, proud of my sexuality, I became proud of it recently. I guess I look at it as more being confident in yourself than anything else. Not really proud of my sexuality, you know. That kind of sounds odd. I like it. I like to say it's more, I have confidence in who I am. You know, I like men. Simple. So I guess I'm proud of it. I don't really get that. What do you think caused homosexuality? Is it biological, fate, choice, etc.? Okay. I believe I was born this way because the reason I believe this, and maybe some of you agree, is just like a straight person, you never chose to be straight, as far as I know. I've asked a few people, when did you become straight? You know, because I'm always asked as a homosexual person, gay person is easier to say. When did you become gay? Well, I never became gay. I was at 8, I knew I liked men. Now at 8, as far as I know, you don't start thinking about sex till you're 12 or 14. It depends on the person. But at that age, I wasn't thinking about, well, sexuality at all. I just knew I loved men. I hope that answers your question. I believe we are born the way we are, just like a straight person is born the way they are. To your sexuality, surprisingly easy. I believe coming out of the closet, as we put it, is very difficult for some and very easy for others. It depends on who you are. Now, for me personally, since you're asking this personally, to answer you, I would say it was very difficult in some ways to adjust to that. To be who I actually am is kind of difficult, because now at 22 I'm just trying to find myself, which if at 8, when I just stayed to be who I am, which I recommend for every one of you, yeah, I found this very difficult, especially for my ex-girlfriend. Ouch, I'm sorry about that. It wasn't very easy. Do you feel that homosexuality or heterosexuality is wrong? Why? No, definitely not. Lean forward to say this. No, I don't. Heterosexuality is the same as being homosexual. You like who you like. You love who you love. You know, a heterosexual loves a woman. Homosexual loves a man, and lesbians love women. You know, and that's who we are. You know, it's not about anything else beyond that. You know, that's who we are. We love a person, you know. So no, I don't find heterosexuality wrong at all. Next question. Okay, first, it's a kind of a 3-part question. So I'll answer your first question. Have you ever considered gender reassignment sexuality surgery? Sorry. No, I haven't. I'm very happy to be a man. I love men. I don't want to be a woman. I don't really like down there. I don't really like up here. I don't want to have those because I'm a man. You know, yes, I dress and act like a woman. You can see my eyeshadow. I'm very happy to be a woman, but I love my man body. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I don't want to be a woman just because I like men. No thanks. What are my thoughts? Some people, it's for them. You know, there are people called transsexuals who are born into a male body but actually belong in a female body. It's what's in your mind, I think, and how you see yourself counts more than, and it's not even it's who you are. Who you are is born. You're born transsexual. You should have been in a female body, and you can have that surgery. I do not object to that, and obviously my opinion is just my opinion. Why wouldn't I have surgery? Because I'm very happy to have, well, male parts. I'm very happy to have a flat chest, you know, and I love my male parts. I'm very happy with them, you know. And yeah, I won't go into too much detail about that. What's the best part about being a homosexual? It says homosexual, I'm just reading the question. What's the best part about being gay? I don't know, nothing. What's the best part about being straight or heterosexual is the big gigantic word would be. Nothing. You know, nothing's the best part. We are who we are. We live who we live. You know, our life is our life. Basically, everything I've said a dozen times already. Okay. Do you or possibly suffer from mental illness, as depression, bipolar, OCD, etc.? No. Now, when I was hiding for 14 or 18 years, however long it's been, yes, I suffered from depression. I was very sad. I was depressed, possibly sometimes close to suicide, because I couldn't be who I wanted to be and who I am as an individual, not just who I wanted to be and dress how I dress and whatever and be my own person. But yes, I found that very depressing, that I had to be a closet gay person, you know. I went out with girls and stuff, but confession 101, I guess. What else? So no, I don't suffer from that, and I don't. If your question goes deeper than that, if being gay is a disease, no, I don't believe so, and that was taken off the list, I think, like in the 70s. So yeah, that answers your question there. Have you ever been a victim of abuse? sexual abuse, trauma, etc. Answer to that, yes, kind of no. I witnessed it, so as a little kid, that would affect a person. But I don't believe, and if your question is reading into, if I want to read in more into your question, because I've seen this before, does that change who we are? Do we all of a sudden, because we didn't have a father figure or whatever, does that make us want to have a relationship with a man? No. Just like if a lesbian wants to have a relationship with a woman because they didn't have a mom figure, no, I don't believe that's how it works. Like I said earlier in your earlier question, I believe that we are born the way we are. That simple as that. Next question. Have we ever suffered from an addiction? Sounds like you're really categorizing us with this. You must probably straight, no offense. And I'm fine with that. Drug abuse, alcoholism, sex, or self-harm? No. Personally, no. I've never had an addiction to anything, actually. I've done many, many things. I've drank, I've had sex, well, yeah. Self-harm, no. I've never dealt with any of those things, you know. Well, I have done certain things in your list, but have I got addicted? No. I don't believe that homosexual people versus heterosexual have any more addiction issues than a straight person. And your final question, do you feel like your sexuality defines you? I feel that no, to me personally, I don't think it defines me as a person. I'm a person, and so are you. And so is everybody who's watching this. You're all people, and who you love and whatever is who you are. I don't believe that defines us. I don't believe it defines me. A lot of people let their sexuality define them and become the stereotype, but maybe they are just who they are. Maybe they do fit in that stereotype, as do I. I don't believe it should affect us. Our sexuality is part of who we are, so is our personality. Those two, I don't think, should go in together, personally. It's who we are, just saying. I think that's your last question. So I hope this answers your questions, and yeah, you have a good day.